Wait, oh my god, hold on. Who is this? This guy's giving a high fantasy Akihiko. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Giru if you're new here, and today I will be reacting to the new Metaphor ReFantagio showcase that was streamed yesterday on the 22nd of April. I'm really excited personally about Metaphor. I think what we've seen of it so far has looked really clean. I'm also really I'm also excited to see how ATLUS sort of like uses the gameplay developments and the UI developments that they've had over the course of Persona's life and introduce that into an entirely new franchise. I'm also a huge high fantasy fan, so as much as I love Persona and the stories and everything involved with it, I also need a little bit of fairies, okay? I need a little knight. I need a little king and a queen. So we'll see. We will see. We're gonna watch the showcase together and I will let you know what I think. If you also have thoughts, let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious to see what you think and what you anticipate for this upcoming title. I think it's gonna be released in October. Fingers crossed. It is coming in 2024, so we'll see. All right, let's get into it.
People across nigh endless years. A land grotesque as its people.
Who's that voice actor?
Let us speak of the old vulture's last grasp at power.
Oh. Wait, this like moving environment is really cool. Right here.
Let us speak of the old vulture's
I love that.
Grasp at power. The tournament for the throne.
So, summing up, our first trial is to slay a monster.
Sounds like
That map.
So, summing up.
That map. That's scratching an itch.
Our first trial is to slay a monster.
Sounds like we've lost a few candidates already too. Poor bastards went after something too nasty for their headhunt.
A land full of feral humans, with people either running or going mad.
What are we believing?
Excuse me, is that a wolf man?
What are
What? And dog girl? Hold on. We got a little anthropomorphized animal action going on.
we believing? Really?
You lot! Enemy attack!
Hitting us while we're asleep is dirty fighting.
Ooh, okay. So we have some what do you call it? Real time gameplay, real time action going on. I'm also loving the music so far. Ooh, squad? Who is this?
You're in this race to become king, are you?
Oh! Oh! Oh, mama.
Not exactly.
We got some real attractive characters already.
Each ally of a different tribe.
Fascinating.
This is what we've seen a lot of too. I'm sorry, I should just let it play, but this is what we've seen a lot of too so far, is the UI. But these menus are gorgeous. Like, I know ATLUS has a very like distinct style as far as their menus go, but I think like the incorporation of these like fonts and sort of like almost not rustic but like steampunk almost assets, I really think is a great choice, especially for this title.
Fear and anxiety. They always lead the people astray.
Why is that man so fine?
It isn't a utopia.
If that's the real world, then it can die alongside you.
Wait, it's giving SMT. That glowing.
He'll be sending all traitors to the gallows. Not just us, but any innocent folks he doesn't find use for.
It is a new dawn, and its light shines upon Lord Luis's king.
The race's outcome is beyond your meddling now.
I must clear my head of these fantasies. In the end, clinging to a dream will do me no good.
Knowing all this, I shall claim the ideals you abandoned and finish it in your stead.
Okay, now I can talk. Now I can talk. Okay. So far, okay. Trailer reaction, voice acting, on point. Some of these voice actors, who was it? The very first voice at the beginning here.
A land grotesque as its people.
I don't know if that guy is the king. I don't know if he's like an evil, like, you know, trying to take over the kingdom. I don't know the context yet. He's giving evil. Right, he's giving evil, if I'm reading that correctly. I definitely feel like I recognize that voice actor, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I know the dub's gonna slap. I'm loving the character designs specifically. Okay, specifically, Knight. I don't know, you know, I don't know anything about this character, but one thing about me is I'm gonna love a character with brightly colored hair, bangs, and giant ears, okay? A huge fan, okay? I love elves. I also noticed too, it looks like the game is coming out. Yeah, so the game is coming out on October 11th. So mark your calendars, everybody, okay? Get all of your Persona runs done in time. Get all of them done in time. We've got a game to play. So far, the music is definitely giving like high fantasy RPG. The whole trailer kind of just feels reminiscent of like, you know, a Final Fantasy trailer, dramatic voiceover, but totally different like environment. So I'm very excited about that. I also think it's funny how the protagonist of ReFantagio looks so similar to Makoto from Persona 3. Some of you may have played Persona 3 Reload recently. I played Persona 3 Fez starting in like October or something of 2023, and so I finished like right before Reload. So I never played through all of Reload, but the blue hair pronouns liberal persists. They persist. All right, let's keep watching. Oh yes. Oh, excuse me. I said high fantasy, but it's beyond fantasy.
Hello everyone, I'm Katsura Hashino, the director of this title. For those that may not know me, I've worked on titles such as Shin Megami Tensei 3, Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5, among others.
Never heard of them.
Our program today is about Atlus's upcoming RPG, Metaphor, to share the latest information with you. As we announced in the trailer earlier, the release date is confirmed. The entire team is grateful for the positive feedback we've received since the announcement. Our hope is that not only ATLUS fans, but those who have never played our games and
I'm sorry, I have to pause for a second and just acknowledge I think I have become an ATLUS fan over playing the Persona title. Oh my god. I'm playing Persona 2 right now, which is definitely an entirely different vibe than 3, 4, and 5, especially if you like consider 3 as 3 Reload. Regardless, it's like super different from all of them. We'll see who is sucked into the ATLUS verse with this.
and RPG fans around the world will give this game a shot. We'd love your support. Please subscribe.
That reminds me, make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video.
Before I start playing, let me introduce the premise of the story. In this game, you'll be forging bonds to support your claim for the throne. But it's the unique take on this that we hope puts a spin on the classic tale.
Okay, forging bonds. Do we think this is going to be similar to the confidant social link system that's in Persona? I wouldn't be surprised, but also I wonder how they're going to... We should keep watching, but I wonder how similar it's going to be.
In a kingdom thrown into chaos by the king's assassination, a royal magic is triggered that establishes an election. This magic allows any individual of any social status to become the next king by gaining the people's support.
Wait.
Which sets a battle for the throne in motion.
Whoa.
The protagonist gets involved, and the journey will take him around the world. It's a journey that I hope you enjoy, as it's unique to this game.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting that we're like seeking to become a leader. We look like we're 17 years old. I was trying to pick an age there, but we look really young. I wonder what our motivation is to become the king.
You'll meet various allies of different tribes, rivals who stand by their own ideologies, and terrifying monsters called humans will stand in your way. This story's brimming with
Wait,
fateful
oh my god,
encounters
hold
like
on.
this.
Who is this? This guy's giving a high fantasy Akihiko.
Humans will stand in your way.
Maria? I love her already. New cosplay unlocked.
The story's brimming with fateful encounters like this. Above all else,
Wait,
the game offers fateful encounters like this.
wait. She looks like Chihiro. No, not Chihiro. Chihaya from Persona 5. Let's get into it.
The title's logo design is based on the concept of a city's main street. It conveys our hope that players will enjoy a journey through a world full of diverse tribes. If you don't mind, let's start at the beginning.
You know what this is reminding me of? This is reminding me of Octopath Traveler's premise of you meeting a bunch of people and like learning their different stories. I haven't played Octopath Traveler, but I'm definitely like I want to play it because I've seen like the premise and the trailers and everything, right? So it's kind of reminding me of that sort of like separate story element and bringing those people together and like deciding how you want to build your party based on, you know, the abilities that originate from their stories. So yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder how much the tribes will play, one, a part in the story, and then two, also like a part in like the actual like mechanics of the gameplay. So I'm curious to see how that's all tied together.
What makes Metaphor different from other fantasy RPGs is the perspective of their world in which our world is their fantasy. After players enter their name, they must answer the questions. Is fantasy limited to the confines of imagination? Would you call it a powerless creation?
Wait, I kind of love this. I'm loving this.
The game questions the power of fantasy, a power we all possess. I hope the game helps you arrive to your own conclusions. Our protagonist's journey and goal is to save the prince who has been cursed. This is a scene from the beginning of the game. What differentiates this from previous ATLUS RPGs is that we've added a more dynamic sense of action. The turn-based battles are still central to the combat, but we've incorporated real-time attacking and dodging elements, as well as dashing around and analyzing to keep things exciting.
Okay, so we're still gonna have turn-based battles. I assume like some of the more major battles, like the boss battles, which I think is kind of nice. I've been playing Persona 2 Innocent Sin actually over my Twitch channel. Shameless plug. We just hit 1,000 followers. Okay, if you wanna go act as my 1,000 follower insurance, as we're calling it, for any impending unfollows that I get from bots, feel free to check it out. But I've been playing a lot of Persona 2 over there, and obviously like the earlier Persona games are very heavily turn-based combat. In Persona 5 Royal, in Mementos, you can actually like skip over battles entirely with the like rush mechanic, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. And like the battles are very like smooth. Like the grinding, the gameplay, everything is very smooth in Persona 5. It's a little bit more tedious in 4 and 3. I think Reload actually did a great job at making the dungeon crawling a little bit less tedious. But I've been playing Persona 2, and that is like an older like 1996 JRPG, and the grinding is a lot. Like the grinding gets so boring to the point that it like gets frustrating to play the game. I've had to start grinding off stream, and that's never like been an experience that I've had because I haven't played a lot of old RPGs on stream. I think that having this real-time action will actually be a really nice shakeup from what we're used to in all of the Persona games this far, of like every single battle being turn-based. So I'm definitely curious to see the balance in that.
At the beginning of the game, the protagonist isn't strong yet. So the difficulty of the battles is intentionally pretty high in this area.
Oof, they
We
say.
wanted players to get a sense of both tension and accomplishment.
It's giving the scan from
I
Persona
might die
5.
if I risk fighting right now, so I'll explore cautiously during this segment. That said, there are multiple difficulty levels and convenience factors to make things easier, so we hope anyone who wants to play can enjoy it.
I can at least cast my usual spell for you.
In this scene, our fairy companion casts a musical spell. The music you hear in-game is in the protagonist's head.
Is he okay?
The composer behind the music is Shoji Meguro. People probably know him from the Persona series, but I've asked him not to be constrained by his trademark pop style. and to take on the challenge of creating a totally new sound to fit this game's world.
I love this
We hope you
vocalist.
look forward to hearing it. This is a particularly large area in the game, and you can see hordes of enemies ahead. One exciting aspect of this game is that you can decide which enemies to fight and how to deal with them.
You know, this environment is really reminding me of the way I haven't played Nier Automata, but it's reminding me a lot of that, like, open world expanse.
We'll explain more about battles later. First, let's take a walk around a city.
Hey, you found something.
This is the first stop
Ooh,
on our
this is so
journey,
different.
the Royal Capital Grand Trad. The background art was designed by Koda Kazuma, a guest artist we're thrilled to work with. Here we are at the city entrance, and you probably noticed the massive armored vehicle. The protagonist will ride around in this to travel the world.
Whoa, guys, check out my ride. That's crazy. It looks like a dragon. I've been rereading the Inheritance cycle, the Aragon series, if you're not familiar. Got dragons on them, right? I'm like, are there gonna be dragons in this game? This city looks really cool so far. I think it's actually really, I'm really curious because it looks like, I'll take a look. There's like a bit of Victorian look to it, but then we have like sort of like, this is steampunk, this little guy over here. This little guy right here. It's definitely giving like steampunk, sort of like automaton vibes. But then there's like covered wagons, and then this big like entrance, the gate to the city is so brutalist. Like, I think that's such a curious combination of architecture styles. And then obviously our whip over here is pretty dripped out, pretty armored. Also, Flames Day. I wonder what the days of the weeks are called.
And you probably noticed the massive armored vehicle. The protagonist will ride around in this to travel the world. The original designs of these vehicles were created by Ikuto Yamashita. I'll get into the journey aspect in a little bit, so let's walk around the city a bit more. Using magic, you can ride around on your sword to get from one place to another quickly.
They've got the passive dialogue that you get.
I wouldn't define this game as being open world, but we took care to flesh out even the distant backgrounds so you can feel the unique atmosphere of every location.
I think that's actually a really, excuse me, I'm itchy. I think that's actually a really great point for fantasy games specifically. I think whenever we have a more realistic environment like we see in the Persona games, for example, you can kind of get away with having a sort of tighter environment and like a tighter bounds on what is illustrated to you. So we can have these tall buildings or like these confined rooms and have that be the whole game and it not be too, you know, jarring, because you can imagine like, oh, I know what the real world looks like, right? So I think that's probably part of the reason that, of course, like developers want to work on open world games. They've seen other open world games be popular, and so we've seen that be successful in, you know, varying degrees. So knowing that this game isn't necessarily open world, but still like putting emphasis on seeing not just the immediate environment that you're in, but being able to convey the world that's around the character, even though we're not necessarily going there, is super important, especially for world building in a fantasy game like this. I think that's why games like, of course, like Final Fantasy comes to mind, but also Nier, because Nier is a little bit more almost like futuristic, I guess. Risk of Rain even falls under the same thing for me, where we have this like pretty like expansive like area where you have like randomly generated enemies.
Now we're heading toward an alley. The atmosphere changes a lot from the main street. This is where executions happen.
Whoa, 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 chill. This is what I was talking about, though. This exact environment is what I mean with the sort of like more tight spaces that you see in the Persona games, because they're set in cities.
Something you see very often in modern day stories. You'll also note some people cowering in the streets, because this world has a prevalent gap between rich and poor. As for our protagonist, he's a boy from an inferior tribe, abhorred by others.
They hate the blue-haired pronoun liberals in this world. It's unfortunate.
Despite his social standing, he's going to participate in the royal tournament. You'll find many problems in each town you visit, and of course people will need your help.
Side quests!
His interactions affect his popularity in the race.
I do want to like point out again really quickly that this definitely feels like more of a fantasy RPG. Again, I haven't played Final Fantasy. I haven't played Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but from what I've seen of the gameplay, like this feels like it's taking more of that form of like having a big expansive world and having, you know, your main quest, but then you have all of these other like side quests that you can complete for like XP, for gold, for resources, for like other, you know, bigger quests to continue on. So I'm curious to see how those tie into the main story and like how necessary the side quests are, because in Persona, like you do technically have side quests in the game, some of the games, but you could honestly like ignore most of them and not have the main story be affected at all unless you're trying to get like DLC content.
Let's zoom out to the map of the entire kingdom.
God, I love this
This is
map.
the royal capital where we are now. In this world, the areas between cities are dangerous areas referred to as wastelands, which makes travel difficult, unlike our world today. As the story progresses, your main hub
He has a
moves
car.
from city to city.
Oh,
And
interesting.
with that, let's take a look at a new city.
That is really interesting.
Let's drop in at the recruitment center in this city. Here you take requests to fight dangerous monsters.
Okay, so this is side quests that are giving us money. Exactly what I was thinking about. I assume we also are going to get side quests from like surrounding, just like NPCs too, that may have a little bit more of a story. One other thing that I'm noticing on this before he continues, I'm sure he might explain it, but there is like a rank here at the bottom. So I'm very curious, like, if you rank up, does that increase your reward? Like, what does this rank do for you? I don't know if they're going to explain it or not. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm making commentary.
These threats to the city are called bounties.
Oh, I think
Bounties give you some nice rewards,
they're ranks of the bounties.
which hopefully encourages you to challenge them. And that's really just one of many challenging aspects the game has to offer. This is the weapons shop. Each city you stay in has various facilities,
What'll it
and in this
be?
game, your choice of equipment is especially important. In Metaphor, we wanted to give you the freedom to customize your party your own way. So we hope you'll even find some joy in making preparations to explore dungeons in your own style.
Okay, I'm very curious about how they give you freedom to approach things with your own style, because I think in the Persona games, the biggest customization that you get as far as play style is the personas that you have for your main character, for your protagonist, because obviously that protagonist can switch out what they have. You can also, you know, use your skill cards and everything like that, but you can't really like change your equipment to suit a specific play style. Like you just get a set like rank up of each equipment as the game progresses. So I'm super curious actually, because I think in like, you know, when we think of like Final Fantasy 14 online, for example, or like even like a game like Skyrim, like you can have so many different builds in that game. You can, you know, have your archer, you can have your swordsman, you can be a mage. In Final Fantasy 14, we have all these different classes, like you can tank, you can heal, like all these different things. Obviously, two very different like actual games. One's an MMO and one's like a fucking shit old RPG. But I do think that like versatility in playstyle is one of the reasons that people play it so long, is because there's so many different ways to play the game. Of course, Persona, you can like approach the game and play it in different ways, but there's not really like different classes that you can adopt, if that makes sense.
Moving on, let's hop into the Gauntlet Runner and head to the battlefield.
Whoa, Gauntlet Runner. That's giving roguelike vibes.
The Gauntlet Runner is a vehicle that can travel safely across wastelands. A mobile base, if you will, with movement and mechanisms that allows it to run on magic.
Oh, that's our
So our
car.
protagonist and many others travel in their Gauntlet Runners to gather popularity. Let's go ahead and board.
Where did I get this big ass
This is
car?
the Gauntlet Runner's War Room. If you access the round table here, all your allies gather back from town, and the map of your journey
I love these assets. I love these little steampunk details. I think that's such...
opens.
I love it.
Most RPGs don't have a time limit
We got weather details in all of these cities.
on the adventure, but Metaphor revolves around the concept of dates and time.
Okay, Atlas, we know you love a time limit, bitch.
For people today, travel often has a fixed itinerary, such as 3 days and 2 nights. So in this game, we've captured the travel experience with predetermined lengths of activities and structure. But within that, what you do, where you go, is up to each player, who can choose to do things differently.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about this. Obviously, this is a structure that already exists in Atlas games. I think the big, factor of this component of time and timeliness in this game is going to be how that clock runs, because it looks like it's going to be like a real world clock, but it could also, I don't know, it just depends. It depends on how it passes. So are we going to have a real world clock, or is it going to be the same where your activities pass the time? How is that going to look like? Because that determines how long am I going to be out in the wastelands grinding and fighting and collecting my bounties versus am I gonna go, I don't know, whatever activities they show us coming up.
Now let's pick a destination and head out. Okay, we have departed. In most games, you arrive at your destination instantly.
Map assets
But
are
here,
so
you're
cute.
inside the runner, heading toward it. Imagine, for example, living in a camper with your travel companions.
Wait, they said van
Cooking,
life?
Conversing, camping, and more. You can cook the ingredients you've gathered with your friends to make valuable items.
Let's fucking go! I love cooking. I love cooking in an RPG. I wonder if there's activities... Ugh, I'm so curious to how the time system works in this game.
In the back is the common room. Looks like nobody's here right now, but your allies will often visit you to spend time with them. There is also a collection of books for you to read. Or if you'd rather not do anything, you can sleep here. As you can see, we have Japanese-style capsule-shaped beds. The Gauntlet runner's interior is quite spacious and even has its own engine room.
Why didn't he touch on the washing machine, by the way?
Here's a washing machine, and you'll find cleaning supplies too. I
For
hope
what?
you're excited to learn more about how they play into things.
I am!
Once you've prepared in the runner or a city, you'll arrive in a dungeon.
Okay,
Here's
I
an
see.
introduction to the combat system, which is critical to making progress.
It's the moment of truth.
This is the entrance to a certain dungeon. Let's check the main menu before we head in. Here we have features like items, skills, and equipment. You can see...
Look at that. Ooh! Wait, okay. This definitely, this looks like very similar to the Persona 5 menu in terms of layout. But look at that eye. Look at the shading on that eyeball. This is so much more realistic. The Persona menus have a very distinct style in that they're very, I don't know, they're very color heavy, high contrast, color focused. That's sort of the vibe that all of the Persona menus have. But this looks, it's just a different, I don't know, it's almost like a different art style with the same layout, which I think is an interesting twist on the Atlas style. I don't know. I'm kind of an Atlas stan. I'm sorry, you guys.
that the UI has always been one of our strong suits. It's something that we were very particular about.
Yeah.
You
Ooh, look
often
at those
spend a lot
colors.
of time navigating menus in RPGs, so we wanted to give players a beautiful interface to enjoy a stronger sense of immersion.
Beautiful.
Let's check out the party customization screen. The key to strengthening
Oh,
a party in
archetype
Metaphor
tree.
lies in the job system, and the growth of these jobs is critical to advancing through the game.
Yeah, okay.
In Metaphor, the power of these jobs is called Archetypes. By confronting their anxiety, the protagonists acquire these Archetypes, a special power.
They're not personas, you guys. They're archetypes.
Think of them as heroic figures everyone possesses. Their powers manifest in various forms throughout the game.
Ooh! I love a skill tree. You bitches know I love a skill tree. Oh.
Examples of some archetypes that show up early in the game include the Seeker, who is an
Whoa,
all-rounder in battle.
oh, we see, we got the same. We've got, okay, that's not the same, but we had the Tarukaja move earlier. I wonder how much, I wonder how many of these moves are gonna have similar names, but it looks like a lot of them have different names.
Early in the game include the Seeker, who is an all-rounder in battle. The Mage, who strikes weaknesses with offensive magic. And the Thief, who can plunder resources.
Ooh, okay.
But the key point of the system here is that the character can undergo a transformation, taking on the appearance of various heroic figures and then use their skills to fight.
Guys, it's not a persona, it's an archetype.
Let's enter the dungeon and take a look at what kind of combat is possible. One of the things we kept in mind during development was our goal to make the game as fast-paced and exhilarating as possible. Tedious and slow-paced enemy encounters can ruin a game's rhythm, especially if you know you can win against weaker enemies.
We're not alone. Keep an eye out.
Now, you'll notice we have a large monster ahead.
I see him.
More dangerous enemies give off a yellow glow.
What does the squad button do?
If the analysis indicates they're formidable, you should approach cautiously, unlike before. Pressing the squad button will call your party members to your side, transitioning us smoothly into a turn-based battle.
Ooh, okay. I kind of am a fan of this. Let's keep watching, but I like the idea that you can like make the decision in the dungeon whether or not you want the battle to be turn-based. It reminds me again of Mementos in Persona 5.
If you initiate a squad battle before the enemy notices you, you earn a bonus first strike just like this.
Let's go.
Even
Surprise.
for battles that require a squad approach to defeat them with skills, the action portion before it is designed to provide a tactical element, with mechanics that can lead to both advantages and disadvantages. The squad option allows you
This
to
music's
engage
crazy.
and enjoy tense, tactical battles without even drawing close, and using a variety of skills and strategic actions.
Look at that UI, dude. That's really cool. I'm so curious about the party customization.
We have just annihilated the enemies. As you can see, you can earn bonus rewards by defeating all enemies without taking any damage.
ATLUS has their own archetypes here with all of these
We implemented this feature to
screens.
provide a sense of accomplishment in party customization, so I suggest you try it out. Next, I'd like to touch on the volume of dungeons. As you progress through the story, you'll come across main dungeons, which you'll tackle as part of the main story, and side dungeons, which you can explore as part of quests. Both types will of course plunge you into battle. In terms of
That fish guy was crazy. Wait a second. I want to look at him again. Look at this guy.
the number of dungeons to challenge, it's more than any previous title of ours. Furthermore, the dungeon mechanics we've designed were created to avoid impacting the balance and pacing, reducing anything that may bore you.
What? No, she's not. Is she a reference? I'm just wondering if this is an ATLUS reference. A self-referential moment with Katharina.
As we created the game, one area
She
we
looks like
focused on
her.
was how spending time on the road impacted the growth of your party members. One of the systems that symbolize this is the follower system. The protagonist will meet and befriend various people over his journey. As he continues to deepen these bonds, these followers will become his strongest supporters. The protagonist senses the heroic image within them, giving him access to new archetypes in battle that awaken within him.
Yeah.
It's up to the player to decide which followers to prioritize interacting with.
This is actually, I think, I don't know. This is definitely similar in some ways to the social link system, but I think it's interesting that each sort of story unlocks a different archetype. And so I wonder how this rank influences like the skill tree that you have unlocked for each archetype.
Finding strategies to gain advantage, both in dungeons and outside of them, is a unique aspect of this game. We hope you enjoy them.
I love her design.
There's more to share about archetypes, but we'll save that for future announcements. I'll just say for now that there's a significant number of them in the game.
Why did he say it like that? I'll just say for now.
Your other party members can also equip any type of archetype, giving you countless options.
Wait, okay, that's a game changer. We're not limiting just to the protagonist. That's definitely a game changer.
In forming your party. Take a look. I'll show you on screen. Here's a party consisting only of brawlers. Unique parties like this are fully possible,
wait,
so
this is
hope you get
sick.
Creative with it. Metaphor has been created with the goal of fusing the idea of a journey with interpersonal interactions, party growth, combat, and a taste of the storyline we've described today into a single game experience.
I'm excited about the fact that we're going to be able to switch out archetypes on our different party members instead of it being limited to just the protagonist. I do think that's a really important difference to make.
What did you think? That was only scratching the surface of the journey and the basics of the game system. There's so much more we can't wait to share. Metaphor is a massive game filled with interesting and unique elements.
You know what that means? That means it's going to be like 80 bucks.
Before I sign off, I have a short video we prepared for those of you who stuck with us to the end.
Oh my god.
This is a scene from the Gauntlet runner, which I spoke about earlier. Please look forward to the all-new RPG from ATLUS, Metaphor. Thank you very much for your time today.
I'm so excited. What's the scene gonna have?
Hey there. Yep.
Oh, this does give the hint that the activities are gonna be the thing that determines what passes time. Oh shit, we taking a bath. Oh, well, that's cool. Wow. What are we thinking? What are we thinking, everyone? I think I'm still excited. I'm still nerding out about it. I'm really looking forward to this battle system. It looks super cool. I think that's one of my like top excitement things to look forward to. I'm really curious to see also how like our equipment and how these archetypes and how all of that is going to add to sort of the I used a word earlier that was perfect and I can't remember it now, but like the flexibility of the game and like all of the different things that we can do for it as far as like battle goes. Very curious about the story, of course, very curious about the characters. ATLUS always has great character building. I'm super curious to see how the relationships of the characters shape up. Really looking forward as well to the music, the graphics, the art style. It all looks really cool. I'm really excited to see the diversity in just all of the assets in the game because it's giving steampunk, right? It's giving like high fantasy steampunk. So we'll see. Let me know what you're excited for in the comments. I'm definitely going to be playing on release day, bitch. You know I am. You know I am. If you want to check it out with me, I'll probably be live over at twitch.tv/xgiru. Like I mentioned before earlier in this video, I am currently playing Persona 2 Innocent Sin. I'm playing through all of the Persona titles on my stream, so if that's something you're interested in, I would love to see you over there. But otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, definitely remember to give it a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I know I upload a lot of like highlights of my Twitch streams, but I'm definitely going to be focusing more on my channel of more scripted content, more reaction content, more stuff just dedicated to YouTube because I think it's just better suited to this platform and I enjoy doing it. I want to flex that bone. Girl, what? I meant flex that muscle. Don't talk to me about bones. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and I will see you in the next one. Bye.